Hello everyone, this is Dr. Jawad. If you're new to my channel, thank you for tuning in. I always appreciate a growing audience. 4 things. 1, hit the subscribe button down below. Next is a like button. Next is the bell notification. Leave a comment, leave a question. I've noticed that now that you guys have a lot of great questions. I always appreciate the questions. However, I'm noticing that the questions are a little bit too detailed and seems a little more personal. And this is why I'm trying to guide you over to book me for a session. www.totalwellnessdupage.com. Hit the book now button. We could talk either face-to-face, we could Zoom, we could talk on the phone, because a lot of these questions are getting a little more detailed, and I want to give you the respect of talking to you one-on-one to see if I can help you. So I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in. Hello everyone for tuning in. Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Jawad. Thank you for turning to my channel. And I had a viewer write in. It was a while ago, so I apologize for not getting back to it sooner. But thank you very much for writing in the suggestion for this supplement. And it's CDP-Choline. Now again, I don't promote any brands, so please don't write in what brands do you recommend, because what I always say is do your own research, because when I'm doing the research, this is just the interpretation of what I know. The most important person that can do research is you. This is why I always stress, do your own research on the supplements, do your own research on the dosage, do your own research on the brands, because this is just, if I recommend a brand, that's just my opinion. But you have an opinion too based on your own research, so please do your own research. Okay, so what is this? Citicoline, otherwise known as CDP-Choline. In addition, it's otherwise known as Cytidine Diphosphate Choline. It's all the same type of ingredients, all the same mixture, just different name. And the most important thing is it's water soluble, so I'll get to that in a second. So what is it good for off the cuff? It's good for preventing or treating memory impairments as we get older. When we get older, the normal constituents that make up what we need, the neurotransmitters, all this good stuff, it lessens. We don't take care of ourselves. So as we get older, if you don't use this thing, you'll lose it. The brain is the most important organ in your body, so as long as you're using it and exercising it and building it up, it's going to only do you good. In addition, it's neuroprotective, and as we get older, we get involved with a lot of toxins, environmental toxins, stress, physical, chemical, work, mortgage, marriage. That's all toxic to our brain. So this is neuroprotective to protect our brain against these antioxidants that are just going to attack our brain and decrease its function. And enhancing memory. It assists in the production of acetylcholine. Acetylcholine is the most important neurotransmitter in the brain to make the cognitive function of the brain work. Dopamine, that's your get up and go. Norepinephrine, epinephrine, those are the adrenaline hormones. So it helps with the production of all these chemicals to help better your system. Okay, so what is it? What is it about CDP-Choline that is just so magnificent? Seriously, after doing the research, it is a really phenomenal supplement. So CDP-Choline, once you take it, once it's digested in your gut, okay, it splits into Cytidine and choline. So it splits into actually 2 separate molecules in your gut. Then it travels through the brain, through the bloodstream, and once it crosses what's called the blood-brain barrier. Now, the blood-brain barrier, I always say it's like a cellophane wrap that surrounds the brain, and it's neuroprotective. There's only certain things that could actually cross it, the blood-brain barrier. So these 2 things could actually cross it. So once it crosses the blood-brain barrier, it converts back into CBD-choline. Choline, what's so important about choline? It's needed to synthesize a very important neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. Acetylcholine makes the brain cognition, makes the brain activity work, and also assists in the cell membrane repair. In addition, it's involved with memory, learning, cognition, memory recall. And it's also involved in the production of dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin. So choline is very, very important for the brain function, and one of the food sources that supplies a lot of choline is eggs. The other is Cytidine. Cytidine, now it's a component of, back in high school biology, DNA and RNA are chemical makeup. So it's a component of ribonucleic acid, the RNA. It's a molecule involved in coding, decoding, regulation, expression of genes. In addition, but once it gets back into the brain, so once it travels through the bloodstream and it crosses the blood-brain barrier, Cytidine crosses the blood-brain barrier and it converts into Uridine, which is a main component of RNA. Now, what is Uridine, you may ask? Because wait a minute, it was Cytidine, and then it converts to Uridine once it crosses the blood-brain barrier. Uridine is very, very important because so when your neurons, when this whole chemical reaction, it breaks down, it goes into the bloodstream, so forth and so on, some of the choline, it's broken down. Yes, it's redigested, I mean, again, it gets back, it's refiltered, but there is some choline that gets lost in the mix. It's just a natural chemical reaction. It's the byproducts. So when your neurons lose too much choline, what happens? They lose integrity. Nerve impulses break down and cognitive abilities decline. And also when you're stressed out or just poor health, you're not taking in a lot of foods or supplements that contain choline, this is why you get a low supply of choline to begin with. So this is where Uridine comes to the rescue. It steps in. Now remember, it crosses the blood-brain barrier, it turns into Uridine. So it works as a bridge between choline and the neuron membrane synthesis. It aids in the repair, it repairs, rebuilds, and resupplies the components for neuronal repair. This is kind of like Uridine to the rescue. And it's needed to synthesize phosphatidylcholine, PC, which is part of the outer cell membrane in the neuron membrane. What about the mechanism of when you digest, when you take in or ingest choline? Or Citicoline. Citicoline acts by increasing the synthesis of phosphatidylcholine. Now what is phosphatidylcholine? I call it PC. There's phosphatidylserine, which I did a video on, which I'll hook up the link down below. So watch that as well, because when it comes to cell membrane function, phosphatidylcholine is a phospholipid, which is very, very important for the brain and cell membranes. It's a phospholipid bilayer. So you have an outside and you have an inner one. Phosphatidylcholine is the main component on the outside, while phosphatidylserine is the main component on the inside. And phosphatidylcholine is the most abundant phospholipids in the body. So it's very important. It's a primary neuronal phospholipid and enhances the production of choline. So phosphatidylcholine enhances the production of choline. And this is why it's so important. Okay, so then why would you also have impairment of this? Remember, the brain is a very important tool. So the brain phospholipid synthesis, so the bilipid layer that makes up the cell membrane, it's impaired following a stroke and also an ischemic event. So this is very good for post-stroke victims, TIA, aneurysms, and so forth and so on. All right, so what are the benefits of taking CDP-Choline? Now remember, it's phenomenal for memory, function, enhancement, repair, mitochondria production. Some of the benefits, again, this is just a fraction of them. Again, do the research on your own, which I always encourage, and to find out, because you'll find a lot more benefits to this than I could list. So, in no particular order. It boosts cognition and the production of acetylcholine. Remember, acetylcholine is the primary neurotransmitter of how the brain works. So it'll increase brain energy, it'll speed up formation of brain membranes, a cellular membrane, repair, production of a protectant. It's neuroprotective. It increases blood flow to the brain, which will improve memory and learning ability. Remember, this will help with age-related memory loss. In addition, Alzheimer's patients, stroke, and ischemic events, it causes damage. So this will help in the repair process with these types of patients. And really, any type of person who just really wants to enhance their memory. It could be, you know, your 18-year-old son to your 80-year-old, you know, grandfather. If you want to improve your memory function, this product is amazing. Okay, now the most important question, and that's dose. How much should I dose for this? How much should I dose for that? And this is why I always say, Do your own research because dosing varies. I'm 6 feet tall. I weigh 220 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilograms for my overseas fans. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. But again, the dosage for me is different than the dosage for you, who's half my weight or older. Because again, if you're working with people who have ischemic strokes, you may want to do more than just the average dose. And you want to divide the doses into 2 doses. You don't want to take 1,000 milligrams all at once. It will cause severe stomach upset. In addition, do your research. So dosage, you're looking from anywhere, again, it's a wide variety, from 250 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams per day in divided dosage. So I always recommend take it in the morning. And now again, you can take it with food or without food. It's water soluble, so you could take it without food. You can take it in the morning and the early afternoon. And again, up to 1,000 milligrams. Now they've done studies where if you take 2,000 milligrams for the severe conditions, it doesn't make any difference if you do 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. This is not a supplement where more is better, by the way. So the dosage, yes, there's a big variety of dosage, but if you're doing more than 3,000, 4,000 because you have Alzheimer's, it doesn't do much better. Okay. So possible side effects: trouble sleeping, headache, diarrhea, lower high blood pressure, nausea. So I hope this helps. This is a phenomenal supplement. This one, I also have a link for phosphatidylserine. Now those two combined, they work in conjunction for brain health, cognitive health, improved memory, and so forth and so on. So I definitely recommend this. Thank you very much for suggesting this, that viewer. Appreciate it. If you have any comments, leave them down below. Be good. I'll see you in the next one.